Hi, it's Laurel, or Rel with Dabbling Hook. How are you guys doing? Happy Juneteenth, because that's when I am recording this, but you will see this the day after. So happy summer solstice when you do see this. And if it's later on, hey, if you're new here, thanks for stopping by. I hope you subscribe, but if you don't, I hope you enjoy this episode. Hopefully it will be, well, not hopefully, it will be a lot briefer than my more recent videos. Anyway, why are we here? Hop. It is 2:03 and I literally just dragged myself out of bed like a half hour ago, slowly. It's been a interesting last couple of months in work and life, and you know, so anyway, all that aside, I really appreciated being off today because this is my in-office week and it wears on this older body now. I'm not ancient, but I'm feeling the drags, but that's not why we're here. We are here for the seasonal Yarny YouTube Hop Summer Edition. The hop is run by Kim of the Crafty Nomad, hey Kim, and a bunch of other creators take part, crocheters, knitters, what have you, just crafters, take part, and 4 times a year we create a project signifying the season, basically, seasonal Yarny YouTube Hop. For summer, what did I do? For summer, I had all good intentions of starting something. I even started kind of early for me because usually I'm like a week away and I'm rushing to get things done. I started early, but of course life, you know, threw me a curveball and I had to put it aside. Plus I had spring craft fairs I was gearing up for, adding to my inventory. So it kind of took a back burner and I was getting along, but the yarn I'm using, even though it's a number 3 yarn. I'm squinting because fuzzy eyes. It's a number 3. I'm a bulky girl, super bulky, and it's usually worsted up. So I'm forcing myself to work with thinner yarns, and since this was summer, you needed something thinner. So I'd shown you the yarn that I was going to use, Kobu. It is a cotton bamboo, cotton bamboo blend, and I had gotten it at one of the one of the clearance days that I went, or the closeout days, and they had these, and they were 3 in this color, which is olive, and I got 4 in another color which I don't have on me. It's like a light sage color, like a sea glass almost. Anyway, I was hoping to have enough of this. I don't think I'll have for doing the whole project, so I was gonna mix the 2 colors. Anyway, all this to say, I did not finish the project because, as you can see, I am wearing last spring of 2024's seasonal Yarny seasonal Yarny hook project. Wait, seasonal Yarny hook, that's not right. Oh my gosh. Seasonal Yarny YouTube Hop Spring Edition 2024 project I'm wearing. This was a free-handed vest that I didn't wear it last spring when I was done, or last summer, and in a lot of videos last year you would have seen it hanging in the background because I made it, I hung it up after taking pictures, and I barely gave it a second thought. This year I've been wearing it a lot and I've gotten quite a few compliments on it, I will say, and you know, makes me very happy, because it was just sitting there and I'm like, what am I doing? I made it, wear it. So I made it. It came out not too small. It came out smaller than I anticipated, even though I measured around to get the width. The stitch, which is the linen stitch, sometimes called a moss stitch as well, It's the single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet. It tends to shrink as you start working, so I recommend going up a couple of hook sizes, and if you're chaining a certain circumference, I'd say add a bit to that, because it does shrink. And I didn't pay attention to my own, I'm already going on and on. I paid attention to my own advice, but I should have added a little more. All this to say, let me see if I can stand up and show you just a little bit, because, you know, I'm body conscious. I shouldn't be, but I am. But anyway, this is the vest. As you can tell, I wanted it to come out a little further, and actually, you know, if I was that bodycon kind of person, that would be kind of cool. But it hangs off to the side, and I've been wearing it. Love it. The idea was spring green color. This is actually called Slime from Big Twist, or was, or will be, with now that other people have picked up the line. And then I'm pretty sure the trim, it wasn't Big Twist, it was one of the Michaels yarn in some bright pink color. But so I'm wearing this. I've been wearing it. People have been asking me, did I make it, or telling me that they love it. Can't go wrong with a nice compliment. Anyway, so let me show you. I am just all over the place, as I have been for a while. When did I make? I don't think this was a hot project. I think in 2023. I'll put on the screen when I made it, but it is a, and do I remember the name of the, oh, I have it here. Look at that. Did I print the title page? I don't think so, did I? I did. It's called a Tulip Lace Cardigan by Coffee and Crocheting. Hopefully, oh, there you go. That is what it looks like. Let's see what I got. Maybe this picture will show. Sorry, it's been folded numerous times. This is what it looks like. I made it in a Michael's, what was the yarn? Cotton something. Cotton smoothie? No, cotton. Anyway, if I remember, I'll put it on the screen. I made it whatever year ago. I think it was 2023. And it is one of my most frequently worn items. I even wore it to my last craft fair over my t-shirt. So I figured I'd just remake it, because the first one I made, I went longer than the pattern called for. And while I like it, I wanted something a little shorter, like something that came like right at the bottom of my hip, my bum. The current one goes close to my knee, so I wanted something shorter. So I started it, and I guess this isn't going to be as short as I thought it would be. I started it with all good intentions, but like I said, life with, you know, parental health problems and stuff, and time and work and just craft fairs and everything, life. And the small yarn just is taking forever. So I have done the back. It's all done in one piece and then seamed that way and that way, and those are the only seams on it. So it's awesome. I love the pattern, which is why I was making it again. But like I said, would not finish because I had to stop to make something else. So this is it. As you can tell, these are the sleeves, and I finished the sleeve area on one side, and it tells you to just start with the front side of that part, but I wanted to make the other sleeve first to make sure I had enough yarn so that the back and at least the sleeve portion are all in this yarn, and then I will figure out what I'm going to do with the other yarn, how I'm going to incorporate it in there, because I don't think I'll have enough to make the whole thing. If by chance I do, which I don't think I will, I was planning on just trimming, you know, the front collar and the edges in the arm with the other color. But anyway, all this to say, didn't get done. You know, I am going to finish it, so hopefully I finish it. I'm aiming for before the end of the month, or at least before vacation next month, because I want to take it with me. But that was supposed to be the Yarny Hub project, and I will put in pictures of the previous one I had made on screen. So that's that, still to be finished. And I need to switch bags, but when I started, I was carrying it in a makeshift project bag, because you know we turn everything into project bags. It says Black Girl Vitamins, which is a, you know, vitamins for black girls. Came in this cute little thing, and as soon as I saw it, I'm like, ooh, project bag. So I've got 2 of these, but it's too big now for that. Okay, so like I said, I've been wearing this a lot, and my niece, 3 years old, every time she sees me, she's like, take it off. And she takes it, puts it on, and she's just, it's like, it's long on her, obviously. So she's wearing it all over the place, running around with it. So the last time, I'm like, I will make you your own. And then she wants it in the same colors, but I don't have these colors, and I was determined not to buy any more yarn, or not to buy any more number 4 acrylic yarn, because you know, we all know I'm buying blanket yarn, especially with the Joanne thing, and then all the sales on all the online sites. Anyway, I didn't want to go buy anymore, and of course, this being Big Twist, they didn't have these colors anyway left by the time she wanted it. So I realized that I had bright yarn, but just not all one color. Last year I had purchased, oh shoot, I'm laying it apart. Not last year, it's more than a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. I purchased, it's more than 2 years ago. It's when Sweet Roll came out, Premier came out with the Sweet Roll Vivid colors, the really bright colors, and I love them so much. I bought at least 2 of each of the colors, and I've used them, but I had 2 of this one, which is neon signs, and then I have another color. I don't remember what it is. Let's see, Glowworm. The Glowworm has purple and black and these colors, but purple and black in there as well. Anyway, I had 2 of these, so I decided that, I told my niece, because she wanted pink and green. I'm like, it'll have pink and green, it'll be these colors. So I decided to give that a go. Excuse the noise. So I made her her own vest in the neon signs. I will say, my other niece wasn't there at the time, but the last time I had gone in, she was there, and of course I was wearing this, and they had it, and she wanted, if you make one for one, you make something for one, you gotta make it for the other. So I was gonna make her one as well, but I didn't have enough. I only had 2 of these, so I had to place an order on Premier. I also used the opportunity to push the button on the Basics Chenille tie-dye colors, the new colorways that they came out with for that line. So I bought them all together, and Premier is really good about shipping. Unlike Hirschner's takes a while. Mary Maxim doesn't ship unless they have all the yarn. So I got the notification, it came last Friday, and I thought, I went there to check, and it wasn't actually in my box yet. It got delivered to the post office. But I did pick it up on Monday. So anyway, I finished hers. It did not take me the 2 full skeins to make this. It is squinty 174 yards, 160 meters, 3.5 ounces, 100 grams of the Vivid Sweet Rolls. That's what's in it. I think I used about 1.5 skeins to complete this. It would have been a little more than 1.5, but the trim on here, even though it looks like it's part of that, it's not. It's actually some Michael's, I think it's the Soft Classic. I don't think it was called Soft Classic at the time. They had a different name for it. it was a Craftsmart. Craftsmart, when it first came out at Michael's, was a little on the rough side. Not terrible, but on the rough side. And then they changed the formula where it's a little softer. I think this was the first formula. But anyway, they had neon colors. And I had the pink, and I had this like yellow highlighter color. So this is hers. I did do a bit of color controlling on this one, on the other one too, but this one kind of lined up a lot. So basically I measured around, took her measurements. I just threw them away. I found an outline of a girl's body, a young girl's body, and then I took the measurements, wrote it on there so I'd have it with me. So I measured around, I measured to the shoulder, and then from the armpit to the shoulder to know when to stop. So it's basically all done in one piece, and the only seaming is to close up the shoulders. This is the linen stitch. Can't emphasize enough, unless you want a really tight stitch, go up a couple of hook sizes. So yeah, I started, worked it up, and oh, by the way, the linen stitch in, I guess, self-striping yarn, and this yarn, it's not a harsh break in the colors. It really blends into each other. Works up great with the linen stitch. You know how when things are knitted, if it's a pattern yarn versus crochet, where you don't get as much of that smoothness, this stitch works well for that. But anyway, I digress. So work up, stop when I got to the height, to the armpits. I did a bit of decreasing here just to give it some shape, and then I just kept going up to the height to meet the shoulder. The back, I stopped here, did the front, and then connected, did the other front, and it doesn't show, it's not too bad on camera because when I broke into the second skein of yarn, I broke the yarn to try to pick up close to the colors as possible to keep going. So I didn't want this to be pink and then this goes into like greens and whatever colors. So I try to keep it as close as possible. So here it's a little lighter, but you can barely tell. And then on the back, it did the same thing. I reattached it the color, and then I just kept going. So at least where I broke, it'll keep going in the same color. So they pretty much matched up. Here it started getting into the orange, but not a problem. You can tell here where the color started changing here. And where did here is where I joined the two, so you could see the two. What did I do? I'm pretty sure I used a needle and thread to seam it together. First I took the two inside stitches, kind of when you're slip stitching things together, and I did it that way, and then I went back and I took the outside stitches and I seamed them as well, so it's double seamed. Because if she's gonna be throwing it around, because she took mine off, she was putting it on her head, wearing it as a cape, running around, so I wanted to make sure that the seam held up. So this is hers. Now her cousin, my other niece, so this niece is the quiet, boisterous one, and this niece is the first one is the loud, boisterous, running around, loud, all the things one, and this other niece is the quiet, mild. They're like yin and yang, basically. So she also wanted hers, and you'll see that hers has more color variation. The other thing too, because the yarn I started with, the skein I had it in stash, it's from a few years ago. Obviously different years, different dye lots and everything. The colors are spot on, but the thickness of the yarns, the first ones I had are thinner than the newer ones. The newer ones are definitely like a true number 4 worsted feel to it. And I don't know if it's because over time it's just relaxed, but you can definitely tell. So number 2, and just to differentiate it, obviously I didn't know where the colors were going to line up, so I didn't use the same trim color. Also, it'll be easier too for them to definitely be able to tell them apart when they're together. But as you can tell, because they started in different places, the other one started on like the yellow, it was a little bit of that, and it just kept going. So hers has more color variation. This one is heavy on the pink, the first one. This one obviously on the green. So like I said, I had to do a little color management to make sure that at least both front panels going up to the shoulders were green. And I tried to start the yarns at the same place. This side has a lot more flecks of orange in there. Here is just a few spots, but here has a bit more. And somehow for this one, on one side I was 1 stitch shy of the width of it. Like one side is 13, one side is 14. Plus, because I was using the leftover yarns from the first one, and it was from the years ago, it's a little thinner, so I can tell. I don't think anybody else will be able to tell, or any non-crocheter will be able to tell. Like one side is a little plumper than the other because of the yarn thicknesses, but yeah. And hers they're about 2 to 3 inches difference in the circumference, and then the height was, I think, 2-inch difference in the heights. But by the time it's finished, it's, you know, with all the edges and everything, it's only about 1 inch difference, which I don't mind. And I'm hoping once it's washed, I haven't washed this, that it will relax, and because this is definitely looser and hangs better because it's been washed about 2 or 3 times now. But this is hers. Like I said, heavier on the green, and then on the back I try to keep things like here has orange here and then goes into the green. Here orange. I ended with, I don't know if it was the same yarn, I don't remember, but anyway, they're close enough you can't really tell the color difference. But yeah, heavier on the green, and it just so happened to almost end, it did end on orange, whereas the other one had just started getting into the orange. So yeah. The other thing too, the trim yarn from Michaels, this pink one I use here is way thicker than this highlighter yellow one. So it made the arms a little more, it feels a little bigger than that one because the yarn is thicker. So I hope that's not an issue for hers, that it'll stretch. But yeah, I did the same kind of trim. I went around, I started in one corner here, went up around the neck, down the other side, and back around in single crochet, and then I did 2 more rounds, but I did single crochet in the back loop only. And a lot of the times when I do back loop only, I like to go into the back loop and also that third loop. We're more familiar with the third loop. It's easier to see in or do in a half double crochet, but you can do it in a single crochet and double crochet. I've done it both, and I do it all the time. But for me in general, when I grab a back loop or cut out on me, so it's gonna be more than the 15 minutes I thought it would be. Anyway, I grab the back loop as well as that third loop because it leaves less of a stretch, less of a hole. It makes things tighter and neater. So 3 rounds here, 1 plain single crochet foundation, and then 2 rounds in the back loops. So that's that. When I did mine, can I bring it up? When I did mine, I did the rib stitch, took forever, and I didn't want to go through that, so I didn't do that. But if she happens to mention that it looks different, I'll talk her out of it. But yeah, so if you look at both of them together, there you go. They are like fraternal twins instead of identical, but they will have the same colors, just more pink, more green. So, seasonal yarny YouTube hop. I had to rush, to get it done. I got both of them done. First one I got done over 2 days because I had the yarn. Second one, obviously I had to wait for the yarn, and then I started it, I think, late. So I did it over 3 days, 2.5, 3 days. Works up pretty quickly. Doing the linen stitch, you kind of go into a groove. I do my linen stitch slightly different at the edges. I looked at tutorials because I knew how to do it, but I know I've seen tutorials do it slightly different. I've seen people where on one row when they end, they do 2 single crochets right next to each other at the end. The way I do mine, I don't like to start with the chain 2, so I do a single crochet in the first, single crochet in the first, in the next chain 1 loop that's right after that, and then I keep going with the pattern. So it's almost like a 2-row repeat where 1 row you always kind of start and end in a chain, and then the other row you start and end with 2 single crochets right next to each other. And for me, that gives the edge a little more stability. So those are done. I'm so pleased with them. I love the colors. And so when I ordered the extra yarn, I got what did I get? I bought extra. Because why? I don't know. Did I get 3 or did I buy 6? What did I do? I bought 3. Why did I buy 6? Hang on. I bought 6 skeins. I don't know why. Because when I made the purchase, when I put the order in for it, I wasn't finished with the first one yet. And I thought I would use the full 2 skeins, so I knew I needed at least 2 skeins for the next one. But I think I bought extra because shipping? Had to have been for shipping. I don't remember why, but I have 6, and I have, because there was extra left over from the first one, I used that to start the second one, and I used another full skein, and then this is what was left of the second skein I started. Actually, a lot more. Basically, I used, I don't want to say less. I think I used 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 3 and some to make both of them. So because I have so much extra, I decided I was going to make myself a tank top out of it. I should have gone up another hook size to begin with, but I measured around the widest part of my waist, and I added 3 inches to that, thinking that would give me that extra, what's the word, ease. I would say double that for this type of stitch, because I kept going, and then after a while, I should have tested it after a couple rounds around my waist to see, because I wanted it loose. I didn't want it, again, bodycon. I didn't want it tight. So it wasn't until I was maybe like 8 inches into it, I put it around my waist, and it like barely met there. And I wanted it barely met, and I wanted it at least like that to be flowy and loose. I'm hoping, well, I was gonna make it into, like I said, a tank. I was gonna attach it, crocheting around, and, you know, split here, add the sleeves, and then, or the shoulders, and then seam it here, and that would be that. Because it didn't meet, and I was already so far into it, I'm like, I will just make myself another vest. So I used the rest of, now this is number 2? This is number 2. I used the rest of what was left over from the first one. Or, sorry, I used what was left over from making the second vest. And I also had the 2 skeins or the 2 cakes of the glowworm, which is the one with the black and purple in it. So I'm going to incorporate that in there. So now I'm making myself a vest, and because it comes, right now it comes closer here than this did, I think because I have to do this a lot, this new one will hang better. So I was hoping I would finish it because for some reason I thought the first day of summer was like Saturday or Sunday or something. Nope, it's not. It's tomorrow, the 20th. Oh my gosh. So this would make a great blanket, and I want to use the stitch to make a really bright and colorful, I haven't figured out what colors yet, bed scarf to lay on the bottom of the bed. Because I love how it works. I love how it works with the yarn color, but this is where I am. So down below to about the end of the, let's see, I think to about here is where all the extra yarn that I had for making those ended. And then I went into the glowworm, and I think the glowworm ended somewhere here, so it didn't give a whole lot because it's much wider. But I love that pop of dark, the black and dark purple. The purple, by the way, it's like a purpley pink, fuchsia-y, dark fuchsia color. It's beautiful. So that's where I am. I foolishly thought I'd be able to make myself at least a vest in time for the hop, but no. So I am on the second skein of what I purchased, and I have, is it the second? I don't remember where I was, but I have 3 more of this and 1 more of the glowworm. Is it glowworm? Yeah, left. So I gotta figure out where I'm gonna incorporate it in here, and then split for the sleeves, and then I will have a vest. So that's 2 things I want to get finished at some point. So sorry if this was all over the place. Oh, these are the leftovers of the Michael's yarn that I used to trim this. That's that. And no, this isn't the Michael's. This is the left of the glowworm from Joanne. And this is Michael's that I used to trim it. But all this to say, I hope you enjoyed this. I actually had a really good time making that. The linen stitch, it's just kind of reignited my want to make something wearable. So yeah, we'll see. I'm definitely going to keep working on that to finish it because I want all the colors, just make me happy. So Kim, once again, thank you for putting this together. Kim and Crafty Nomad, give her a check out. I can't speak today. Or give her a look, go check her out, as well as all the other makers taking part. I think last time we ended up with 10 people making. So you can always hop in as long as you tag the video with Seasonal Yarny YouTube Hop, the hashtag, you'll be able to find all the other makers that participate, and all the prior ones too will pop up. So I don't know if Kim's going to make a playlist just of the summer edition one, but you'll be able to find all the videos, so go check them out. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys in the next video, whenever that is. All right, happy summer. Bye.